think it's a game? You think it's game? Y'all gon' make me lose my mind. Hey, yo, what's my name? Y'all gon' make me go all out. DMX. Y'all gon' make me act a fool. Hey, yo, what's my name? Y'all gon' make me lose my cool.
I've tried so hard.
What y'all really want? What y'all really want?
It doesn't even matter. I've tried so hard.
What y'all really want?
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. I've tried.
Give me a sign. Dog, I meet bitches, the street bitches, slash, Cocoa Puff, sweet bitches, make you wanna eat bitches, but not me.
I tried so
I fuck with these hoes from a distance. The instant they start to catch feelings, I start to. What is it you want from it? I gave you, you gave me. I played you, you played me.
and got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fight to lose it all. But in the end.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Showcase Pod. I am Don Vega, and joining me today again, the boss, Chris Blackheart. Another one.
Another hot. I almost thought we were going to have to call the pod off today because it was so hot. We're going to get a state of emergency in pro wrestling that tonight's pod was shut down because it made 90 degrees.
It's the heat wave.
It's the heat wave.
See, it should be the other way around, because like you said before in other episodes, we've gotten a little soft. We haven't been stirring the pot. There's not enough heat going on, but it is hot.
It is hot. But how many people, when I was training, it was either hot, it was cold. When I was one of the kids who did walk to school a mile and a half one way and a mile and a half the other way.
Uphill boots both ways.
No, it was only one way.
But speaking of one way, speaking of being hot, speaking of the Showcase Pod, today we got a very special guest. Usually he's behind the scenes.
Well, people don't know. He's the originator and the creator.
Yeah, of the Showcase Pod, the Bionic Beast, Dan Bidondi. Welcome to the Showcase Pod.
Guys? It's a pleasure to be here, man.
How you doing,
man?
man?
The pot tonight, man.
Technically, you're always here.
Yeah.
You're just not always seen.
He's not on the camera.
The ironic part about this, right? You have three guys in the room who have nothing to lose and can tell the stories of some of the forgotten stories. Because some of the stories that we were just talking about, I totally forgot about.
Some of the stories are not forgotten. It's just the people telling the stories happen to switch them around, and
that is true.
Or they're scared to say them how it is, but we're not scared, and we're gonna get right into it. So, Danny, going back to little Danny, how do you get bitten by the bug of pro wrestling?
Believe it or not, I woke up sick one night. Right, it was Saturday night's main event. The night Hulk Hogan won the title. Right. Never seen wrestling or heard it before, right? So my mother's like, "Oh, just watch a little TV, make you feel better." She made me some soup, and literally, just as she turned on TV, on Hulk Hogan was coming out, right? We had no idea what it was because usually she tuned in to Saturday Night Live at the time, and so we were watching this, right? And when I seen this, guy larger than life, I'm like, "What the heck is this?" I'm like, "Wow, this is what I want to be." I was sold. I was, grew up a Hulkamaniac, you know what I mean? And that sounds like a mock or anything, but that's who inspired me to get into the wrestling, man. And that was the first match I seen Hogan winning the title. It was in 1984.
Yep.
I was a little kid, man.
Okay, man. Yeah, then nothing wrong with that. I was a Hogan guy, Loved the character, loved the charisma. This guy was a flair guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, but it's what? Just it was different back then. Like when you watched it. When Hulkamania started, that did transcend. I just thought he was too over the top, as in Hogan.
You didn't like the hulking up? You didn't like the brother?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mind it. I just didn't like it.
All right. We got a lot of people tuning in. Apparently, Danny's a famous one.
So you're a little kid.
Yep.
You're eating your vitamins.
Say my prayers and believe in the commandments.
But did that inspire you to start as a young Danny as going into amateur wrestling? Any correlation?
It was a spiral from there, man. Like, You know, me and my cousins, I had a big family, so we're out there wrestling.
Wait, did you
introduced them
say
to wrestling.
you had a big family?
Yeah.
All right.
You don't know about it.
Don't worry.
Mr.
We're gonna.
Biggs.
Those who know, we're gonna go into the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, later on.
So we did the wrestling. I got them in the wrestling. So now every Saturday we're watching this stuff, and it was great. Then when we got a little older, we started wrestling with friends in the neighborhood. Made these little championship belts and everything else. Joined high school in Central Falls when they moved there, and they said it was a wrestling team. I had no idea what kind of wrestling was. So I thought this would be a way to get me into professional.
Did you think you were going into a wrestling ring at the school?
No, I mean I knew it was a.
But you were hoping though, right?
Yeah, I was hoping it was a gateway to there, but come to find out it's nothing to do with it. I mean, like it's good advantage to going into the pros because you're already in shape and you could take a beating, you know. But I just joined the wrestling team and I fell in love with that. You know, what I mean, amateur wrestling and been wrestling literally all my life.
Yeah.
So, talk to us about, you know, your collegiate stuff, you know, wrestling in school, high school and all that, state championships. Walk us down that timeline.
Oh yeah, it was you know, when I first joined, ninth grade was freshman, right? I won the freshman state championship, and that was huge. And first guy from Central Falls to win a state title in a long time, you know. And then I went on in the senior year, winning the Class C state championship, and during the years, won different awards: first team, second team, a couple medals in different tournaments and everything else, and division champions. And so I was a captain of my team by my senior year and everything else. And also, I was on the powerlifting team at the same time, and I won the 11th grade in overall. And when I was a senior, I won the 12th grade in overall titles for the powerlifting and everything. And been like literally not even graduated high school. I remember it was a state championship. We left the tournament, and there was a guy outside. Remember Peter, the tall, skinny guy from Yankee Pro?
Peter, Easy Straight?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was out there. There was some festival going on, advertising for the pro wrestling show, right? I'm like, I want to be a pro wrestler, so he gave me the information. So right away, I called. I think it was Joe Eugenio or Dave Souza, right? Called them up, say, hey, listen, I'm interested in joining. Well, come on down to Fall Rivers at the Pal Hall at the time. Mm-hmm. And I started going down there, started training right away. I was even, I think it was in May when I first stared.
What year is this, to put in perspective?
Oh, 94.
It's 94. And
how old are you at this point, Danny?
I think I was about 18.
18, okay.
And how much did you weigh? Because everyone is
Like 195, 200.
no, you were literally half the guy that you are
Yeah.
today.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, I was cruiserweight when I first started.
So when you go and you go into Yankee Pro Wrestling, is it Yankee at this time or is it New
Yeah.
England Wrestling?
Yankee.
Yankee. So when you go into Yankee, who are some of the people that were there at the school in your class training, and who was you mentioned Dave Souza, Savannah Sousa.
Yep.
Who were the trainers at that point in time?
Oh, I was lucky because Mr. Fuji is good friends with Souza, and so he came into town for a while, about a week, and I was lucky to receive training from him for a while. And,
Okay.
but Dave Souza, he was there, and I think I don't know, A-Train came in later, Prince Albert, whatever, but a lot of guys from WWE, you know, moved up, Steve Bradley and everybody else. We all trained together and everything else. But when I first started, man, it was brutal. I mean, I thought I was in, you know, the cat's me out because of high school wrestling.
Yeah.
You get in the ring, you got old school people, Mr. Fuji, Dave Souza. These guys come from the WWF, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 4 hours into you puke in the barrel, you know what I mean? And you're running drills, running the ropes. And it's crazy, right? You're taking these bumps constantly. Right? Even before you begin to throw a clothesline or something, they make you throw bumps. And when you wake up, you feel muscles you never thought you had, man. And awesome stuff, though. There's a lot of conditioning, a lot of training, and a lot of learning psychology in the ring and everything.
So how long do you go through training before they say you're ready to have your first match or your first showing at a show?
Well, believe it or not, it was like literally a matter of months. I picked up quick, and Dave was impressed. And actually, what they did was, because Mountain Mike, remember him? He ran a Fed.
Yeah, before my time, I know.
Yep.
I've heard.
He was interested in me. He wanted me to come to a school. So Dave Souza is like, no, you know what? From now on, you don't have to pay no more dues. You paid up. We want you to keep you here. You know what I mean? So, so they put me in a ring in the Battle Royal. I think it was like January, February. That's when I joined them. And May was my first match. I was in the Battle Royal, and then my first match, singles match, and that same night was against Paul Lazan.
Okay.
And he took good care of me, man. Nice and professional, nice and easy and everything else, and paid your dues, you know what I mean? And
Okay.
doing ring work and all that stuff. And
You mentioned some of the guys that went on to stardom, like Steve Bradley, God rest his soul. A-Train, which is Prince Albert, a guy that was at Kowalski's at one point in time, and now he's head trainer at NXT in Florida for WWE.
Fuller,
Fuller, all those guys. Who were some of the other guys locally that were working at Yankee Pro at that time?
I think I worked with Kenny Dykstra before with New World Wrestling. Later on, just trying to think of the guys back then. It was a long time ago. So
you just jumped a decade.
Yeah.
We're going back to the 90s.
So I worked with you guys.
94, 95.
94 was PJ there,
Yep.
PJ
Oh,
Walker.
yeah. Pete.
And Scott Taylor was there at that time.
It was probably Redemption.
Reverend Redemption, yep.
Kahuna.
Yeah, because
Kahuna, yep.
that was before my time. What time would you get there? 96?
Brickhouse
97.
Baker.
Yeah. Baker,
Scott Ashworth.
Tex McCoy.
Yep, Tex McCoy.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
worked with all those guys many times.
Thunder
man.
from Down Under?
No, Thunder was around my time.
Shithouse Break, I love that guy. yeah, we did they call it marriage, guys know that, but we did like 3 or 4 matches straight, and it was pretty good.
You and Brickhouse?
Yeah.
Cool.
So you going into your first match, was you always Dan Bidondi, or you had a different name? I think you had a different name before.
Yeah, I couldn't come up with a name, right? So I'd say it would be cool because in high school I always wanted to be an All-American,
Yeah.
So Dave said, well, you can keep the All-American, and I guess he said I reminded him of this guy, Davey O'Hannon.
Yeah,
So he
yes.
goes, we'll call you Danny O'Hannon. So I don't even look Irish, He's like, he goes, just go with it, don't worry about it. And so I went with Danny O'Hannon, and I don't know where the heck the name
The
came from,
All-American Danny
Yeah.
O'Hannon. Yeah. Okay.
I was like, this little face,
All right.
All right,
Okay.
can we ask our guy run the boards to bring up an old picture of Dan?
Yeah, you want to bring an old picture of
bring
yourself,
it.
Danny,
Of
so that we
1994?
this is live and in color, and I know
Actually,
you know.
I do got him on my
Yeah.
profile.
Oh, you gotta bring it
Let
up.
me go through some of the people that are tuning in. Valerie, about time to kick some ass. Tim Morgan says hi, Dan.
What's up, guys?
Yep. DJG says, what's up to Danny? Uncle Obvious says Dan Badondi's the man.
Oh, there's one picture here. I'll get to it in a second here.
I just picture you in the All-American singlet, like the red, white, and blue.
Well, he had the All-American
Yeah.
singlet. He had the flag striped down
Yep.
across.
There you go, right there.
Yeah.
All right, so we started. Sorry, so you worked at Yankee for a couple years. Did you leave there? Did you just work for different places and there?
It was crazy because that was the time where they did an angle at UCW. It was called the Invasion. You know what I mean? So we did this angle, and the UCW came into us and met Anthony Rufo, and so we became good friends. And there was, of course, some internal bull crap going on with them and Yankee Pro and all that. So. And the thing is, Yankee Pro, like, they just want to keep me there. I'm like, I just want to go out and do more matches and all that stuff. And I remember the vets, especially Rick Flair and all that, like, no, you need to go out and work. Because I was with them for 5 years at least, just them only. And he goes, you need to get your name out there. You need to go, everybody you can wrestle for, do it, And so I took that advice and I went to UCW. And then there was some other crap going on at the time, Yankee Pro Wrestling, just like some stuff with Eugenio and everything else, and God bless him and everything, but it's just like it was like just got too sickening after a while, so I didn't need a new change. So I joined with UCW, and I was just whatever show was going on. And at the time, Mr. Biggs, my cousin, and he joined us with UCW, and him and Anthony Rufo, they bought a ring. We were doing ring rentals all over the place, literally all over the place. And so I set up the ring, and I wrestled for the Fed that day. And we were doing like 4 or 5 shows a week, at least in the summertime. It was pretty awesome.
What's the year?
Oh, that was
It's probably
the late 90s.
Yeah,
going
this
to
is probably
2000.
98 because
Yep.
that's around the time you was working still for Yankee when I met you. And then during that breakup of UCW, I did some shows with UCW, and we actually worked against each other on some UCW shows, I remember. So it had to be around 1998 at that point
Yeah.
in time.
Yep.
When that was going on. So talk to us, you mentioned Mr. Biggs, your cousin. you know, this is for the old school fans and some of the boys that watched this from back in the day. Talk to us about Biggs and you know, some people might not know that you guys were related.
Yeah, he was my cousin, and I ended up living with him for a while. But anyway, he opened up his own Fed, and it was IAW and some other Fed, and he was always good friends with Chris here. And so he opened up Fed, and we ran some real good shows. And then when he started getting partners in, that's when everything collapsed, whatever. But we would do some good shows. We were going down to Florida, working for other Feds, and Maryland. And actually, on my journey there, I actually wrestled for... down in Maryland for John Rambo.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You know what I mean? And me and him were good
that's a
friends.
name I haven't heard in a long time, John Rambo.
So we wrestled everywhere we could, and literally, and everything. And it's funny too, because when Mr. Biggs broke into the business, he started with Yankee Pro. At the time, because of his hips, he wasn't cleared medically. So David Souza told him, say, listen, you need a medical note so we can allow you to wrestle, right? So he comes back and he has my brother write the note. Instead of putting MD for medical doctor, he puts MC Steiner. And Dave's like, really? Who the hell wrote this note? You know, but they eventually...
Don't go writing up notes out there if you're
Yeah.
watching us. You know, we're not endorsing any note writing. Maybe Blackheart, I don't know. You're into some shady shit
What?
sometimes.
No, I have proofreaders. When I post stuff on social media, I get texts quite quickly, which is fantastic because some days I read it and I reread it and I think it's correct and I post it. I'm like, oh shit, and then somebody texts me, you know, and then they literally improve it. It's like they're doing a home improvement project on my spelling.
Okay, so we're circa 1998, 99. You're working for UCW. You know, Anthony Rufo started that promotion. God rest his soul. Who were some of the other guys that were involved with UCW?
Oh, Widowmaker, Johnny Justice, Spider, and that was the last match we ever had with UCW. The Power Company.
We can go into that one, but
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go into
Yeah,
that.
that-
Sonny Iceberg was
Oh,
there,
yeah,
right?
Iceberg, yep.
Yeah,
you guys.
Yeah, the
you guys
Reverend.
wrestled there.
I think
Yep.
Pretty Boy Hernandez,
Yep.
Thrash were a part of the original UCW.
Kyle
Butch
Storm.
Petrillo.
Kyle, yeah,
Storm.
Just
Butch.
let you know,
Bad Boy Billy Black.
the first match I ever had at UCW was at the Barden Street.
Yep.
I wrestled Kyle.
And
And I
Kyle
had-
bust you up.
And I had a female manager that night.
Female manager. Who was it? Sandy Starr?
I had Sandy Starr,
Yes.
my first time in. I had Sandy Starr as my manager.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she was a sweetheart. Like when we, especially in Yankee, we did so many shows at Wayland City and everything, and
Yeah.
she was always the mother to everybody. She was
Yeah.
like always washing our gear for us, helping us out, whatever. Yeah, Sandy Starr, she used to let us stay at our house if we had to crash there if we were on the road doing all these shows and everything. So it was pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
she's
real
always a
people.
sweetheart. I seen her not too long ago. Shout
Yeah.
out to Sandy. She watches the show
Hey,
sometimes.
she could be a great
So,
guest.
She
Yeah.
could be a great
Sandy,
guest down the line if
you're
you're watching
listening,
Sandy.
If you can Skype or Zoom, we'll have you on.
Yeah.
She has stories, man. The
Yeah.
stories that she should tell,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
they could be phenomenal.
So now we're moving on. What happens ultimately with UCW? I mean, we've had some runnings there. We wrestled, like I said, singles matches. Then when Blackheart joined UCW, we wrestled tag team with Joel Davis, the real deal, one of our past guests. Shout out to Joe. I know he's probably watching this. Talk to us about that.
Well, yeah, it was a great run, and I mean, I literally went to all the championships, and they had me as first many tag team titles. Then I was believe it or not, a cruiserweight champion, and hard to believe, right? A cruiserweight champion, and for them, IAW and a bunch of other feds, I had like 3 or 4 titles at one time, and then they moved me up to television champion real short, then United States champion. Then I was on the next for the heavyweight title, and that's when actually the show before I was supposed to win the heavyweight title, it was that's when Spider passed away in the ring there.
Before we get into Spider, I mean, talking about bad times in UCW, were you there for Dave Fox?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I actually wrestled him that night. Me and Sonny D, we did a 3-way in the main event and put him over for the title. And he said, don't tell my wife I'm here. You know, I told her I went out bowling, right? So we got it done with the match. And he's like, we're sitting there, we get in the locker room, we're talking. He's getting undressed. And he's like, oh, man, I don't feel good. And I looked right at him. He just went face first into the floor. And then later died in the hospital from a heart attack. And that was sad.
Wow. So he wasn't obviously in good health to go and have that match since he lied to his wife, huh?
Nope. Doctor told me he's not physically fit for that. And
Were you there?
Unfortunate.
you
No,
there?
I wasn't there for
See,
that.
I was. That was a show that I was booked, but I was never told I was booked,
Yeah.
yeah.
and I was stubborn and I didn't go. Which is, knock on wood, I'm kind of. Not that I wouldn't have helped, but I'm just glad I wasn't. I missed it.
So, you know, we speak about, we got right into like the bad times and the unfortunate incidents about UCW, but we did have some good runs at
We did.
UCW. There were some big houses down in Braintree, Massachusetts at the old Moose Lodge
Moose
there.
Lodge. Look at Dean College.
Yes,
we
Dean College.
were wrestling what 3 times there.
Yeah.
Was it 3 times? It was weird. They were all. It was like I don't know, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, some big houses, some good
Roger
crowds.
Williams University. And,
Yeah, so definitely some
Oh,
good
you want
times.
to tell that story?
Yeah.
When which one was that? Is that with was that Cronus and Anthony? Or was that Cronus and Gino? Or was that
Ooh, I think,
Nah, I
what
don't.
did
I think it was
Abby?
Gino.
I don't.
Was it
re-
Gino and Abdullah?
No.
Am I making up stuff?
No, Abdullah, that was Powerhouse.
All right.
That was the only Fed around here that had
But then
Abdullah.
what card was it at the college locally?
It might have been Cronus.
Was
Yeah.
it
I'm
Cronus and
thinking-
Gino?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking Cronus.
That
yeah,
the
Gino.
school shut it down? Were you
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Yeah.
I know I wasn't there. I don't know where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
'cause
think
they
it
got
was.
brutal, man.
I
they
think it
tore
was.
the place
I
up
think it
big
was
time.
Gino and Cronus on that one. That's what it was. But yeah, UCW had some great shows. You know,
Yeah.
Anthony did a great job, and also, you know, Gary was a part of the office, I think, at one point, and Travis Funk.
Yeah, ironically, that was I got there probably like 2000, and that's when it was my first taste of the Moose Lodge and wrestling. So
Yeah.
that kind of started for me wrestling at the Moose Lodge.
Yes.
And if you look at the whole thing, like at that time, the landscaping. I mean, I think I was working for Power League. I was probably getting hired and fired by Yankee Pro Wrestling. You can go to yankeeprowrestling.com anytime for all their upcoming events.
You were fired. You fucked up, huh? You got in trouble.
I got hired and fired. Half the time you got me hired and fired. But then I'd be working for UCW, IIW.
Yeah.
Oh, TJ Richter was there too.
Yep,
I remember
Yes,
that.
TJ Richter.
I
That's
worked
another
him,
guy.
Steve Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steve. Yeah, Steve. Me and him were tag champs, and we had this little coalition with Mr. Biggs and AJ, little AJ there. I forgot his work name.
I ran into I say a kid, but he's a guy. I didn't know where I knew him, I didn't know where. It was at Fan Fest. He lives up in Maine now, and I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me like, why you keep looking at me? And he goes, oh, I used to work for UCW. And then I had to go back literally 20 years as a kid, and then it made sense. Was that Steve?
Yeah, I think he's in little Florida now.
Maybe not. All right.
Okay.
But no, it was just.
You're the wrong guy again, Blackheart.
Did you want to bring up any results? Any results from PWI? You want to bring up from UCW? Go through some cards?
One funny story I wanted to tell, because you wanted the story, right? So basically, we were doing a lot of road shows. Most of the nights we slept in the friggin' U-Haul in the back, right?
Yeah.
So it's literally 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's like been 3-4 days we've been on the road, like doing shows. Set up early, do practice. Hopefully, you hit a local gym, go out to eat, do the show, and you're out there like, oh man, you're lucky you have 4 hours of sleep. So me and my uncle and a bunch of the guys were in the back of the U-Haul, and my cousin was driving. He didn't want to pull over because, we got to get to the show. So all of us got to take a piss. We got, like, beer bottles everywhere. We were just, tanked. And you got beer bottles everywhere, right? So I think we're in the Boston Tunnel or something. And so we're like, screw it. I opened the back door about, like, a foot. And all of us got there. All you hear is a bunch of cars beeping, bottles rolling out of the back, smashing on the ground, and all this taking piss out the back, And it's funny things like that, you know what I mean? And it's just like the stuff on the road that, you try pulling it out, forget it,
Oh yeah, you'll get arrested.
What
now.
about the Big Anthony security system?
Oh, yeah. Well, we pulled out a truck stop, and some guy was messing with the trailers at night, coming back from late show, because we wanted to go eat and all that. And so this guy's in the back. He's looking around, trying to jiggle the little combination lock, right? Whatever he was doing. All of a sudden, Anthony just came out of nowhere. And now Anthony Rufo, this guy's like this 430-pound guy, speared him, almost broke the back door. This guy was like literally out unconscious. And Tiny the Terrible was out there punching him. And this little midget guy here is out there punching the guy and everything.
So talk about we mentioned Anthony. Talk about some of the interactions with Tiny. You got to interact with Tiny a lot.
Oh, yeah.
They wrote they wrote with you at times on the road. So talk about those experiences.
Oh, it was great. I picked up Tiny in Providence, where he lived, him and his brother. As soon as I got them in the car, he went to pull out. All of a sudden, whoop, whoop, police officer pulls behind me and didn't even look at me because, Doug, come here. I need to talk to you. And I'm like, he's like, oh shit. So the cop's like, yeah, you're all set. And so he's like, I don't know what the hell he told Doug, but Doug was scared shit. And so he goes, just go. We got in the car and left. And I'm like, yeah, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, it was funny because he was famous with the Pawtucket Police Department there for a while. Another guy that will be an interesting guest, Doug, and I still don't owe you no fucking money for that Puerto Rican festival 10 years ago.
Hey, let me text you right now.
I'm
texting you.
This is live again to remind me.
Oh yeah, because if not,
are you gonna go pick him up?
No.
Funny show, man. We were Rocky Raymond. We worked for them, and so we were in Thompson, Connecticut, the Speedway, and Rocky said, "Get the heat with the crowd." Now, mind you, Thompson, Connecticut, all redneck area, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get this little black midget, right?
Little
he gets in the
killer
ring and
tiny.
yells out, "You white," the H, you know what I mean? And I don't know if YouTube would think that, but you bunch of white honkies, whatever the case, and people throwing bottles over the fence. Guys are trying to climb over that like 50-foot fence and everything, and almost caused a riot, and the police had to escort him out of there.
Tiny, yeah, it sounds like him.
That's Tiny for you.
Yeah, it sounds like him. So we're getting towards the end of the UCW type era. You mentioned the unfortunate incident with Spider.
Yep.
We were all there that night. Some of us were there when it happened.
Yep.
Blackheart had left. Were you
Luckily,
still
I
there?
left.
You were still there when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go through that real briefly.
Oh, it was horrible. I was in Widowmaker was on deck, for the main event.
Yeah, I was wrestling Widowmaker that night. Yep.
And so me and him are talking, and we're right at the curtain. All you hear is we heard a loud thud. That was disgusting thud, and we seen it because you got the curtain and you can see right through. We're watching the match, and you seen Davey come out, do a suicide dive onto him, and all you hear is a loud, ugly thud. And my cousin was a referee there. My other cousin Nick and my cousin Mr. Biggs were right there. And we just ran out, and we automatically knew there was something wrong. And this poor kid, not to sound gross, but like a 5-foot radius of blood's coming out of his eyes, nose, and ears. And I'm like, what? It looked like something out of a horror movie. And my cousin holding him, he's covered in blood and everything else.
Yeah.
And poor kid, man. And he was such a great worker. He was new into the business, and very good kid, always listened and everything else. And I helped train, when he was at the shows before. Early, I helped him work on stuff and everything. You know what I mean? Awesome kid, and it was just a sad, unfortunate accident.
Yeah, definitely not a great night that night for all of us that were there.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. And again, rest in peace and condolences to his friends, family that might watch this. So, towards that time, UCW's kind of getting towards the end there. Where do you go from there?
Well, at the time, Mr. Biggs was still doing. That's when he really started doing IIW with Dan, because the work name there.
Haradi. Was that Haradi or?
No, the Big Dan.
Big Dan.
Freight Train Dan.
Freight Train
yeah,
Dan,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, then
yes.
he went in business with Kyle Storm, jumped in later and all that. So anyway, they were doing IAW and some other Fed, whatever the case. And then we were renting rings out all the time. So we were doing shows, not just the ring, but I was working the shows with the place where we rented the ring. So I was all over the place, and we came upon NWA New England. And Jason Rumble is just when he took it over, basically, I think it was. And I joined with NWA for a while, and awesome run. And I was a junior heavyweight champion there, and so many good matches and everything else. And I met what's his name? Trying to think of the people I met. Jason Rumble, Outpatient, and a bunch of other guys in that organization, and worked for them for quite a long time.
So when Jason took over, there was, if I'm not mistaken, towards the end of that NWA New England run, Trooper has something to do with that, where he had the WrestlePlex building in Woonsocket, right? That was the NWA also?
Yeah, because at the time, when I was working for NWA New England, I known Jimmy Allen. We went to school together. So he goes, "Oh, brother, you got to come wrestle with me, man. I got a company." So he branched out of NWA into New World Wrestling, right? So they were doing cohesive shows. So I was working for both. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Gino Martino was a booker for them at the time, and NWA New England was cool because like we had so many good matches and everything, and TV tapings and everything else, and. It was funny. I remember one show because I worked Rick Full at this point. I think I worked him like 15 times, no joke. So I remember we had a meeting before the show, and we're on the ring, and Jason's like, "Hey, we need somebody to work Fuller tonight." Everybody's just like this, like, you know, what the hell. And I jumped off the ring. I was sitting on the turnbuckle. I'll work him. I don't care. Worked him a dozen times, and so I worked Fuller. And but there's so many good things at NWA. You know what I mean? And we worked a lot of good people and everything, and it was like, it felt like it was a stepping stone to bigger and better, you know. And then working all these other shows and everything.
So now we're moving along quickly here. So you moved on from the NWA run there. Jimmy kind of stepped aside and started doing his own thing. And this is when we reconnect again. You're working for New World Wrestling, and you're part of a group there with John Cena Sr. He had this group with actually Rick Fuller, yourself, if I'm
Mr.
not
TA
mistaken, Mr. TA, and a few others, I think Widowmaker. And I'll talk about the angle that we had with his whole group. He was sending like different guys to go after me at that point in time. And we had like a strap match or a belt glued together match. You remember that match?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it was at the old Attleboro Moose Lodge.
Yep.
And the thing fell apart like 2 minutes into the match.
Oh, yeah, whipping each other thing just, fell to shit.
So, talk about the experiences working with, like, John and Fuller closely. And,
You want to hear a funny story, man? John Cena Sr., right? He was
Yes.
Johnny Fabulous, right?
Yes.
He managed me, I think, about, I guess, about a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I had no clue that was John Cena's father. None at all. And I get to know the guy. That's why he respects me very well, because I had no clue. And I kept hearing people say, "Oh, yeah, John, I want to get your son's autograph." And one day I'm asked him, "Does your son wrestle?" He goes, "You don't know who my son is?" I'm like, "No, John Cena." I'm like, "No shit." It's like, that makes sense now, and and he goes, "Now I respect you," because a lot of people like kiss my ass because I was his father. But it's like you want to see the next. I had no idea, brother. It's like
it was like you were genuine as far as where you was going and
Put John on the list.
yeah, John's on the list.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
John's he's a
John's
great.
definitely on the list, but I remember, doing all those shows. Moose Lodge used to be pack houses,
Yep.
for a little building. Going down to the Cape, we wrestled there in the Cape, full house at the school there.
it was a fun match.
Fun matches there. I mean, it was a good run. What are some of the favorite moments that you have working for Troop New World Wrestling there?
Wrestling against Brutus Beefcake and King Kong Bundy. He was good friends with my cousin Mike. Mike Biggs.
Yeah.
So I got to know King Kong Bundy very well, and so he used to call me his son. It's awesome. So I love Bundy.
Wait
He's
a
awesome.
minute. I see the resemblance.
Yep, see the resemblance in the back. Yep. You guys both got that, fat neck and everything. But I love Bundy. He was awesome, and he was good friends with Mike. He used to call us all the time, and we used to talk to him and everything. And so it was a good experience getting to know Bundy and everything else. And worked for New World Wrestling. I got a lot of opportunity, many tag team titles. I was a open weight champion and a cruiserweight champion, I think, when they did have one, I think it was. And then I started transitioning to the heavyweight and everything else. So, it's been a real nice ride. I can't complain. Unfortunately, they don't want to use us right now. The people who helped push New World Wrestling to the next level. So Jimmy, I can say this, Jimmy, because I went to school with you, and you're like a brother. You're an asshole, but I love you, man. You are. Yeah, you're an asshole, but I love you. You're an asshole business-wise, because the thing is, me and Sheik, Mr. 305, Jimmy Jack Cash, all of us were there, and Outpatient and all that. All of us were there, and Gino Martino and all that, to help mold and create New World Wrestling to what it is today. And all of a sudden, none of us are working for him anymore. And it's crazy. And he's telling me I'm out of shape and all. I'm like, dude, I'm better shape than half your roster. And I'm not being cocky about that. So, I said, whatever. God bless you. Whatever direction you want to go, God bless you. Just tell me you don't want to use me. That's all you have to say. And him with Buddy Sheik there, cuts him, and then wants to bring us back as a tag team. Then mysteriously just cuts that altogether. Brings the Sheiks back, Then he had a match with Luke the Bushwhacker, and Luke just messed that up bad, and he took the fault for it. But Jimmy still fired Sheik on that, which was wrong altogether, you know. And so I can say that because, you know, I went to school and everything. You know, business-wise, you're an asshole, but, I still love you, man.
All right. So, you know, we kind of got over, again, over the time. This was your second run when you went to work for New World Wrestling Extreme. So the original NWW run was a good one.
Yeah.
You were happy with that. You had some great moments there, some good matches. And then now in this era of the COVID era, you ended up going back and reconnecting and working for
Well, before that, what happened was when I left for a while, and I was like, and you all see the pictures, like I used to be like, I was like working out, tanning, trimming down, all that.
Yeah.
So I was in good shape, and I literally, I was good friends with Travis Funk for a long time. You know what I mean? It's another name we forgot to mention with UCW.
Yeah,
so
Travis,
at the time,
I mentioned him.
Road Dogg came up. We booked him for a show. Me and Road Dogg, we were practicing in the ring for hours, right? We were just connecting, right? So I got a good communication with him. So basically, I was going down to Florida on vacation, right? And it's like, hey, could you hook me up with NWA, TNA there, right? So I was, yeah, go. I'll tell Road Dogg you come down, go see him. You know, gotta go to the arena. So I managed to get through security. So I'm backstage in TNA and all that, and Road Dogg, I just talked to him, right? And he's like, he goes, literally, just the other day I turned the books over. I forgot the gentleman's name. He turned it over to. He goes, I would definitely put you on in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So he talked to the booker at the time, and they literally had me on because they did 4 tapings in one setting for the TV. So they had me on 3 of the shows because I think it was Kay Quick didn't show up. It was his X-Pac and
Ron Killings.
Yep. And a couple other guys, they weren't showing up. So they literally had me on the card to work. And then they ended up showing up. So they asked me to do security, but then they didn't end up needing it. So, but regardless, I got to see all the guys down there and talk to them, and Scott Hall and all them. And so the booker come up to me and said, listen, normally you don't just come in here and do that, but I understand because you're Road Dogg and all that. He goes, do me a favor, send me your tape. You know, I mean, we go back to Rhode Island, send me your tape, and we would love to look at you because he put a good word in for you. So I'm like, cool. So I got back to Rhode Island, and that's when I was married at the time. I think it was a week later, I got to a head-on collision. Guy come right over the railing, smashed into us. I fractured my clavicle. And mind you, I was like pumping these like 150-pound dumbbells in the gym. Couldn't even lift a 20-pound dumbbell. It set my career back big time for a long time.
So for a long time after that accident happened, you obviously couldn't wrestle, you couldn't work out. You took forcibly a hiatus from the business. Yep. How long before you start recouping and working out and thinking of coming back?
Well, I mean, I was like, it killed me. It really did. And because I just grew, you know, I mean, this is me, my blood, you know. And so what happened was it was a nice pacifier. I got my uncle, one of my uncles, he was manager of a radio station. So he's like, hey, you still doing the paranormal stuff? I'm like, yeah, come on down, we'll get you into a show, right? And I'd always been a news person, likes to tell the truth. So when we were doing this paranormal show, he's like, and I'm like, the whole night slot's open. Can we do a news show? He goes, yeah, do what you want. Who cares? It's AM station, you know. So we did this truth radio show, you know what I mean? And we're pissing off politicians. We're telling the truth and everything. And all of a sudden, it just took off from there. InfoWars spotted me. We Had Change spotted me. So I got involved with the activism, got involved with the truth movement, and all of a sudden now I'm working at Infowars.com, which I had to move to Texas for a short time. And so doing all this media stuff, it's like I had no time to get in the gym.
Yeah, so that covered your time off from wrestling. Yep. You kind of found that other passion that you had and pursued it. And for years, that kept you from coming back into wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the same time, I'm getting that itch, you know, that itch, and like, oh, I got to get back, man. And so I started hitting the gym again, and, you know, it was working out good, and I had that, you know, short run with Jimmy again.
Yeah.
He would come back. I went to the show. He's like, yeah, we'll get you back. And outpatient managed me for a while, and we had a good run. I was openweight champion. I was next up to be the heavyweight champion. Then all of a sudden, he just changes everything. Outpatient stepped down from the booker. A new booker comes in, and I forgot what was going on there, and all of a sudden, we're not working for him no more. You know?
Okay. So, you know, I wanna before we move on, I wanna talk a little bit more about the media stuff, the news stuff. You know, can you talk about some of the stuff, the experiences there? Because I'm sure, you know, you got a lot of interesting stories of people pissed off at you or threats or all that kind of.
Oh
Gaga.
man, it was insane, right? And you can't have an opinion with these people, man. So the Boston Marathon, the whole thing, the bombing happened.
Yes.
So I'm back in Rhode Island. I was because I moved to Texas for a while and working full time for them. Then I moved back because my family didn't want to move to Texas. So I moved back to Rhode Island. He goes, "We'll keep you as a correspondent. Just go home, right?" So I'm working for them part time, and they send me different places. So I got a call and say, "Hey, you hear about the bomb in Boston?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Get in the car, get to Boston, right? And we'll fill you what's going on, get your cameras and all that." So I'm going up to Boston. I have no clue what's going on, and all of a sudden I'm in the press conference. I got everything going on, and I'm getting information like Boston Globe and all these medias reporting that there was drills being done before the bombing, and the police were telling everybody to stay calm. It's just a drill on the loudspeakers. And I presented this to the FBI. Now we're in the press conference room, right? It's a hotel. There's hundreds of reporters from all over the world, like literally, right? And I'm right up in front. And I asked the governor that at the time. And it's like, is this a false flag? Because it's the makings of one, And oh man, and 2 other press conferences after that, confronting the FBI live on TV, showing them that that they would just look like deer in headlight, and just asking questions. That's all. And we got harassed by the feds, Secret Service, Homeland Security, and man, well, that was crazy. We had a target on us big time, just for asking questions. Man, our names were run all over the media for weeks. Me and Alex Jones, and then the Sandy Hook stuff. That's another thing altogether.
Okay, I'm sure that pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah.
Getting into that topic. So you still have a show? You still doing some of that stuff?
Yep. Right now, I do a new show and also a spiritual warfare show.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Exposing a lot of good stuff.
Give out the plugs.
Yeah,
Dan.
give out the plugs, man.
It's truthradioshow.com for those of you don't know, watch my show, whatever the case. And again, we do a new show. It's called Breaking the New World Order, and also a Spiritual Warfare Friday show. And once in a while, I'll do other shows too. And I'm associated with Nice TV. I do shows with them. They do shows with me, and it's a great system. But Spiritual Warfare Friday, we expose things like the Illuminati, people called conspiracy theorists, and Freemasonry, just like secret society is a cult. Biblical topics, exposing evil stuff and everything else. We get deep into the stuff, man. We have people calling to the show, and we do prayers for them online and everything else, and it's a great thing. And out of all this, though, like seriously, like when I told you I got injured in the accident, I always was a person I believed in God, but I wasn't full into that. So this accident, I really believe it was a calling, even though it set me back, because I really feel like the shape I was in, and I'm not just being cocky. I'm a very humble person, but I feel that I could have been there. You know what I mean? I would have made a run in WE or TNA. You know what I mean? And so I think God sent me back for a reason, because what it did is readjust and realign my things. You know what I mean? So I don't get involved with the dirty side of the business. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And to realign things to show there's another calling too. And then later on, I started wrestling again, which they say you can do what you like to do, but this is your calling as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I had to go through these little journeys to find my spiritual journey through Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? For Him to use me as a vessel to get the truth out. Now, like I said, with this press conference and all that, we got death threats big time. Death threats big time, and people they're just crazy. And you got communists in the government trying to take our civil liberties all the time. We're out there exposing it. We're putting our next literary out there, exposing bad people in the Democratic and Republican side, you know what I mean, that are working for communist organizations, and we're getting death threats. Alex Jones, when he said it was black helicopters flying over the place, he wasn't kidding. Yeah. I'm riding with Alex Jones. We're going to some dinner thing, right, with the crew, and literally it's a black helicopter, unmarked, following us right along the highway. Not even joking. Wow. And it got ugly, you know what I mean? It really did, especially with the Sandy Hook stuff. I got roped in some stuff that I wasn't involved with, and my whole thing getting involved with that because the politicians are going after the guns, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And gun control is the reason why those kids are dead, you know what I mean? And I feel bad for those children and all that, but I got swing because there was other groups involved that I got mixed into inadvertently, you know what I mean? And so I had to make a lot of apologies and clarifications of where my position was, you know what I mean? Yeah. And some people was trying to say it was all fake and all that. I'm like, no, I'm just here because of the gun control. You know what I mean? I support gun rights. I'm a Second Amendment advocate in Rhode Island. I support gun rights, you know what I mean? And gun rights would have saved those children, you know what I mean? And so people don't like when you question things but give the facts out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Chris Blackheart, you're over here.
No,
you're like a sponge.
You know what is, We had Danny on Gary's show a couple years ago,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know if you remember this. You remember being on there?
Yep.
Well, they would not air your show. They did it. They pulled it. They go, because you were talking about the dollar bill,
Yeah.
and they're like,
Obama. Yeah, I remember
yes,
that. Yeah.
and they're looking like, yeah, we can't air this show. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, Gary, this is great. We should have Danny in all the time because
Well, now that you brought it up, can we briefly touch up on that story that Blackheart's talking about?
Oh yeah, they had me on the show. Remember that was a cable access place in Attleboro, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that vividly, and I remember Travis Funk. Gary Gold. His eyes were like, oh crap. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna get raided by the feds or something. But I remember talking about that. So when Obama was president, and I was exposing the things going on in Yemen, killing with the drones and all the scandals going on with the Obama administration and everything else, and how they worked with the Bush administration to attack our civil liberties and everything else, and just all the filth that was going on in the background. You know what I mean? And then talk about the dollar bill, the Illuminati stuff, and everything else. And so I remember what's the name there? Just like oh crap. You know what I mean?
So
Some
that
told me
was
wasn't good. Yeah.
that was the heat for the Gary Gold show.
Yep.
It didn't air, but
And
this is
did
the
not-
showcase pod. So
Well, you can air it. We air
were,
everything.
We were getting soft, apparently. So I gotta ask Danny, since we're on the spot, we're live. What are your opinions on the whole COVID situation, the era of vaccination and limitations and stuff like that?
yeah,
Can we get into that?
YouTube
will,
kind of stuff. So like, I'm gonna say without YouTube because YouTube's like flagging everybody for if you speak against it. So I'm gonna say is it's pandemic. That's about it. And because they'll shut us down for you voice out opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
all
wait a
right.
minute. YouTube would only shut you down if you talk about Wheeling City Festival, I heard.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes. Wink.
Was that a pandemic there, like William City Festival?
It could have been.
Oh, okay.
But we will have an update in about 2 weeks. We're working on again to get some new stream on that. All right, so we can't talk about that.
That'll be the Patreon version. We'll get into all these stories and all
Yeah.
that stuff. We'll eventually get into
No,
that.
yeah, we
we
can
got a
do
lot
that.
of part 2s on shows. But if you're interested in that, let us know in the comments. Leave us a comment, leave us a like, follow us. I know a lot of people watch our content, but they're not following us. Are you booking this?
Am I booking it?
Yeah, they gotta follow us.
Wait a minute. If it was terrible, then of course I booked it. If it was good, because we know you like taking credit for it, then you booked it, right? Yeah.
It is what it
Now
is.
everybody knows how it is. If it's phenomenal, he takes credit for it. If it was terrible, I have to take credit for
I
it.
share the ideas.
Oh no, you
sometimes,
don't.
man. I
You
share.
cringe when good stuff comes over.
I
like,
share the ideas. But speaking of good ideas, tomorrow night, September 8th, we're back at the Showcase Pro Wrestling Arena Training Center in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. That's 126 Main Street. 7:47 p.m. bell time. Great action-packed card that night. I don't know what you're going to be doing. You've been sketchy the last few days. But
we've
I
done.
think there's a conspiracy going on because I'm working for you guys and me and that's the Bionic Beast, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
It
the
might
tag
be-
team, we come out 6-0, 7-0, and all of a sudden, boom,
Oh.
it's a conspiracy. They just stop using
Well,
them.
all right. So wait. We're
He's
bringing
ma-
up.
he's making a
Oh,
challenge.
wait. So
Yeah.
he's basically saying that the Puerto Rican most
We're
wanted.
ducking him.
No, not, yeah.
Yeah,
not
that's
them,
what it sounds
directly,
like.
but It seems like there's a conspiracy going on because they don't want to put us together as a tag team. We've been wrestling singles for the last couple of months. And so, we've been
Blackheart.
hot on the tail of you and your partner there. And
All right.
You know what I mean?
I
So-
think eventually
Well-
down the line we'll meet.
Just let you know, tomorrow night he is booked in singles for the revision of the YouTube title. That is starting September 1st. It's almost like a 24/7 title. It is open.
You know
it can
that-
be defended anywhere.
That rule was instated by you. I'm wondering what.
Yeah, but Danny can join in.
I'm wondering
unofficially,
why.
but officially.
I'm just sketchy about that rule. You were adamant about adding that
No.
rule.
You know what
I
it's-
have no idea.
Yeah, but we were having a conversation regarding how everything is done through social media and not just YouTube, and how it doesn't stop 24/7. So you kind of
So there's no benefit that's gonna lead on to.
no.
your-
This is
your-
all about you. You came up with a great idea because it's a great idea, right? Because you came up with it, right?
So this is No beneficial to Blackheart.
No, now you sound like Louis Leon. He was complaining a little bit about, 24/7, open rules, anyone can come in. I'm like, Louis, you're getting the opportunity to work with anybody and everybody. Yeah. That's an awesome opportunity. You're not locked into a contract that night to someone that you may not like because someone else may join in.
I don't know,
That's
man.
pretty good.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but tomorrow night you don't want to miss it down in Woonsocket, 7:47 p.m. bell time. On September 15, we return back to the BFW Hall in Taunton. That's a Friday night, right?
It's a Friday night. That's a good one.
7:47 p.m. bell time there.
Taunton's awesome.
Taunton's an awesome building. We're back there. We expect to see all the great fans in Taunton. Main event, Scott Leder got the challenge the last time we were there by the superstar. Sean Candido is challenging for the SPW Heavyweight Championship. So that happens September 15 at the Taunton BFW Hall. Then we're moving on to October, Chris Blackheart.
October, we got confirmation. We are going to be at Autumn Fest in Woonsocket, which is Columbus Day weekend. We're going to be there that Sunday and Monday. 3 o'clock show on Sunday, 1 o'clock right after the parade on Monday, which is awesome, which leads into the 13th, Friday the 13th, we're in Taunton. The 14th is going to be a big day in Woonsocket because we'll come back there at an event. But we're also doing open house.
Yes.
So that open house is for anybody who thought to be a pro wrestler, anybody who wants to come down and check out the school, go over questions. That is an open invitation to everybody because, as we said a couple months ago, we have an accelerated program. We have 4 or 5 great prospects
Yes.
who literally accelerate their program. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 6:30 to 9:30. We have a new coach, Coach Kenny, is there on Wednesday nights. Great guy.
Yeah.
Great knowledge.
Well, you want to take things to
Tweaking
the
and
next.
fine-tuning.
Yeah, you want to take things to the next level. No pun intended.
Literally to the next
to
level.
the next level. You know
wanna
you want to
be
be
part
TV
of-
ready.
You don't always need the spirit to be part of the squad.
Yeah. So if you want to be part of the squad, you want to train. Your dream is to become a professional wrestler. Don't miss out. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center. What other social medias they could contact?
Everything is SP Wrestling. If you send any emails or message, everything goes to me. I'll send you a message back. Actually, this is a good plug, too. We just had a second inquiry for somebody who wants to do a senior project
Yes.
regarding pro wrestling and as a career and or business opportunity. So the young gentleman reached out. I reached out to him automatically. He will be down here on Monday, hopefully, to go over it. We had another one last year
Yeah.
with flip-flop,
Yes.
so
He was tuning in. What's up,
hey,
Aiden?
flip-flop. So, we
Yeah.
have somebody following in your footsteps. So if you are associated doing anything with a school project or if you want to do school fundraisers, reach out because there's nothing better than a
Live pro wrestling at your
live
school.
pro wrestling at your school.
So,
So hit us
all-
up,
all
SP
that and
Wrestling,
more.
showcasewrestling.com.
Like about Showcase Pro Wrestling, I just joined in with these guys about a year ago or so.
yes.
Yeah,
I think that's
and
about
I'm
right.
telling you, like, all kid inside with the tag team thing and everything, but these guys are awesome, and I'm not just blowing smoke, man. And I've been in so many locker rooms, been in so many feds, and I'm still working my way. I'm still paying my dues, and like rightfully so. You know what I mean? And so I don't expect the title match right away. I was just joking about the title thing. And we in the wrestling business, when you join a fed or something, you just got to pay your dues. You just got to be patient, keep your mouth shut, do what you're told, and that's it. It doesn't matter how many years experience. Next year, I'm going on 30 years in the business, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Coming to Showcase Pro Wrestling, I don't expect to be a star. I'm going to go in there, pay my dues, keep my mouth shut, do what I'm told, and one day I'll get my chance. Maybe a heavyweight title someday, who knows? That's what I would like to do someday, but I know I got to pay my dues, and I got to make my way through Showcase Pro Wrestling. But at the same time, man, I've been to all these locker rooms, man. I've never seen a more cohesive locker room in my life. And Chris, this guy's the most forgiving guy I ever met, seriously. And the locker room they run is tight, but it's great. It's friendly. Everybody's having fun. You got Rambo over there singing and everything else. Just people bashing each other just fun-wise. You know what I mean? It's just a great time in the locker room, and we put the shows on together, man. We have fun and we work good and work hard and everything else. The school's got 2 rings in there. You got Kenny doing the training and all that stuff, and you Don Vega, and go down there and check it out, guys. If you want to be a pro wrestler, just go down there, and this is like the best academy you can go to. And the coolest thing is, again, like I said, it's such a cohesive locker room. It really is. And when you work with somebody, you get along. There's no egos in there. Oh, I gotta win on this match, or I shouldn't have to go over. You shouldn't have to go over in this match. None of that. You know what I mean? Chris or whoever comes, hey, you guys are working together. This is going over to 12 minutes, whatever. We do that. We follow the script and we do what we're told, and nobody complains about it, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Yep. Thank you, Danny.
welcome.
Moving on down to October the 28th, we're in Franklin for.
Hell forgive and am I? I share my
you
building.
for the first time ever, Blackheart's sharing a building with Powerhouse Wrestling.
Yep.
Powerhouse Wrestling returns to the Elks Lodge in Franklin, Massachusetts. On that night, you're going to see the Caribbean legend, Savio Vega and I, taking on the FBI Nunzio and Ray Jazz. Also, Teddy Goods returns to Powerhouse Wrestling as he takes on Dirty Dango. I mean, the Powerhouse Wrestling Women's Champion and IWA Women's Champion, Ivy, will be defending her title. Mr. USA Tony Atlas got added to that card, and I hear he's going to be taking on the Showcase Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, Scott Leder, or Brother Moon Revan, however he wants to portray himself that night. That's going to be an interesting contest there. All you have to do is check out Powerhouse Wrestling NE on all social media.
I love Tony. He's awesome.
Yeah, Tony's going to be awesome. Get your tickets. Tickets are moving. That's, again, October 28th. Franklin Elks Lodge. That's a Friday night, 7 p.m. bell time. What do we got in November?
November, back in Woonsocket on November 10th, which is a Friday. We return to Platinum in Taunton on
Platinum
the
City
11th,
Gaming.
and we are doing a fantasy camp from 3 to 6. Show at 7:07. So that's going to be a big return. Shout out there to Rashad. Anybody looking for a great family entertainment between old school games, video games,
They got everything
birthday
in that
parties.
place. Karaoke,
You can make everybody happy. Go down and see our buddy Rashad at Platinum.
City Gaming in Taunton. So that's going to be a great one returning there. The shirts are still on sale.
Oh.
BWO shirts. You can hit me up at Don Vega on Instagram and Don Vega on Facebook. Don't forget to follow us, SP Wrestling, for everything. Danny, you got anything to plug, closing?
Yeah, and I just want to explain too, like I got into powerlifting. We forgot to mention that too.
Yes.
My plans are to compete in a year or so, and so that's why I'm putting on a lot of weight right now. And I want to say I'm 49 years old, but I can honestly say by far I'm the strongest I've ever been in my life, and probably the best shape, regardless of a little fat and everything, because it comes along with the powerlifting thing. You know what I mean? So I can say I'm the by far my bench, my squat, my deadlift, everything is. The military press is through the roof, and it's no signs of stopping. So I'm just like 49, but I feel like in the business, when you're 49, you're still young. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I feel like a 16-year-old still new in the business, and I'm just gonna ride this much as I can. My goal is just to make my 50s the best years of my life. Just ride it out in professional wrestling as much as I can and enjoy my time. You know what I mean? And when I'm done with the powerlifting and all that, I don't know when that will be, but. I'm going to start trimming down next year when I start competing, but right now that's why I got this King Kong Bundy look, which is not a bad thing because he's a legend, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
so versus the body I used to have, the tan and all the cut up muscle and all that stuff. But I can say I'm honestly the strongest I've ever been in my life, and I love it. You know what I mean? The powerlifting is a whole world on its own. The technique involved, and you're the biggest enemy you have, opponent I should say, is a guy in the mirror. You know what I mean? And the same thing applies in the wrestling, man. You got to compete against yourself, not only your opponent, but against yourself, to go out there and duplicate or exceed the ability that you did the prior show, to put on a great show, to tell the story, the psychology, all that stuff in the ring. And that's why I'm still back in the business. I consider myself, again, still fresh into this business because I've been out a while, transitioned from New World, had some years off, then come to you guys. And so I'm still, again, readjusting, relearning, because you can never stop learning pro wrestling. And that's why we still I still got to get up to the training there too. But other than that, I love the wrestling, love the powerlifting. It's just a great experience in my life, And I want to shout out to AWL, American Wrestling League, where I'm working for them as well. Them and Showcase Pro Wrestling, which I love both these organizations. We're helping AWL just to get a little bit better and all that. And I'm a United States champion with them right now. And so good things are looking, it's looking good, I mean, in that organization. But Showcase Pro Wrestling, guys, if you want to, like they were saying, if you want to book a show at your party or a fundraiser, I would definitely contact Chris, Don Vega here for, booking. I mean, it's good stuff, man. Family orientated.
Definitely there. Hit us up on all those social medias that we mentioned. Danny, it's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. But before we wrap things up, we are going to play the name game really quickly because we can't leave without that. Let me just drop the first name here. Joe Eugenio.
Joe Eugenio. Love the guy, but man, it's a little weird. You know what I mean? Like, there's little handshakes with people, the little finger in the middle. But yeah, it's a little story altogether. But I love the guy. He gave me the opportunity, all those years. And running, when he ran Yankee Pro Wrestling before I became Top Rope. I thank him for the opportunity and everything else. But I can't really say anything bad about him. But he's a little sketchy and things. But, most promoters are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, stop
Except
talking
for
to
you,
him.
Yeah. What do you got, Blackheart? You're lost on this one, huh?
No. Do you know what it is? Because I'll ask that on part 2.
Part 2, no.
Part
Just give me a name.
No, I was doing a name. I was going to ask a question, but we're in the name part. All right. Why don't you do Souza?
Dave Souza, and that, I mean, he took me under his wing, literally, and he kept me in the ring the whole time when I was at practices. I was never out of the ring. He stayed in the ring, and he said he's seen himself in me, when he was younger. So he gave me extensive training all the time. He never left the ring and everything else. And so I appreciate everything he's done, and that helped me train. He trained Steve Bradley as well and all that. And so all the stuff he's done for me, I very much appreciated.
Another name, the real deal, Joel Davis.
Oh, my buddy Joel. Yeah, we are UCW Tag Team Champions, the Real Americans, and we had a good run. It was pretty fun, and we worked against each other for a couple times, and we tagged with each other like anything else. And well, you can't say enough about him. He's a comical guy. Always upbeat. Like, is the show starting? Is the show starting? And he's always upbeat like that. But
no pun intended on the comical part. He's a comedian now. Joe, shout out to Joe again. You got to go check him out. The real deal.
He's cool.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good shout out. We'll do at the end. I'm gonna throw out there Sal.
Sal.
You know Sal.
Sal.
You're Sal.
Oh, my buddy Sal.
Yes.
Yeah, I love him. He's funny. It's like there's always an adventure with this guy, man. I tell you, it's like when one thing's not going on, there's something else going on. It's kind of crazy, but in the political world and everything else. And you want a Rocky Raymond story?
How about Rocky Raymond? That was my next guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Rocky Raymond. Yeah, we did shows for him for a while, me and Mr. Biggs.
See, you missed your opportunity. We're in the name game.
Yeah.
You got to stay tuned for part 2 with the Rocky Raymond stories.
Give me one on Rocky, like a quick brief description on
that damn ring he had. Man, it was all wooden, probably 1,000 screws to put the damn thing together. And, other rings you just put together takes a half hour. This damn ring, it took like hours to put together and take apart. And then he used me as Doink a lot of times. I used to play Doink the clown, and ripping people off of money and shit. It was crazy, man. And him asking people to use the bathroom. That was a little weird, because he knew a lot of my family. We all worked with him in the shows, and he's always saying, you want to use the bathroom? You want to use the bathroom? Always, it's kind of weird.
Definitely
character.
Weird. Definitely weird if he wants to go to the
opportunity. Me and Jose Perez, we went over on the Power Company for the Tag Turtles at one of the matches. But him and his nephew, it was funny because his nephew was a booker too, and them two never were on the same page. So we were supposed to go over, and Rocky said, no, the Power Company is supposed to go over. So they were battling back and forth. So me and Jose just jumped out of the cage, won the titles, you know what I mean? And that was my first cage match. But it was always something. And his nephew always wanted people to carry his bags for him.
Yeah.
I'm like, get the hell out of here, you know what I mean? Seriously, Yeah, crazy stuff, man.
You got another one?
I do. Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. Oh, yeah. Barack Obama, yeah. Another tyrant,
And
Barry Soetoro.
one,
He's dating the man, Michael Obama.
one word, tyrant, huh? That's all right. So we'll close off on a good note. How about your cousin, Mr. Biggs?
Mr. Biggs, love him, man. That kid was crazy, man. You gotta, we go back on again. We could do a show just on him alone.
Yeah, we'll do
Mr. Biggs.
You know
Oh,
what
I love Mr. Biggs.
Oh yeah.
stories.
Mr. and
Chris,
Mrs.
was good friends
Biggs.
with him.
I love Mrs. Biggs too.
Yes.
Yeah, you were good friends with them
I
as
did.
well. And we
Yeah.
could spend the whole show doing on the show with those
We'll
guys.
definitely.
But what an
revisit
adventure
that.
with him, man. And there was always something going on. There was never a dull moment with Mr. Biggs.
All right.
And he always used to tell people you could be replaced.
Well, that's
Joe
true.
Bruin,
That is true. You could replace anybody in wrestling. The wrestlers are a dime a dozen. But with that being said, you had something else, Chris, before we wrap
That is
things up?
it.
That is it for today. Danny, thanks again for doing the show. You're always behind the scenes, producing the stuff. Thanks for having us and doing this with us is a fun journey. We're just getting started because it's gonna get crazy down the line. So I suggest you start following us on all the social media, SP Wrestling. Like the Facebook, leave us a comment. What do you want to see? What do you want to hear? But for now, Danny, thank you very much
Thank you,
for
guys.
being on. Chris
you.
Blackheart, for the boss, Chris Blackheart, Don Vega. This has been the Showcase Pod. We'll catch you down the road.